Hi, Brooks Kenny here from Us Against Alzheimer's, and welcome to another episode of Be Brain Powerful Live. If you're new to this series, let me tell you a little bit about it. We started this effort as part of our Be Brain Powerful campaign. The campaign is designed to educate people across the country about the steps they can take to take care of their brain. And each week, we're bringing you an aspect of brain health live. So we've had conversations about exercise. We've had conversations about communicating with your doctor about your memory. And tonight I'm thrilled to talk about nutrition because, as you probably know, what we put in our bodies impacts our brain health. And so tonight we have a really special treat for you. Chef Vin Connelly, who is a nationally known chef and is just amazing. He has prepared a brain healthy meal for us, and we're going to be sharing that recording with you shortly. He and his wife, Dr. Hope Ricciotti, are incredible. They have written books together on women's health. They have been featured on the Today Show, on Good Morning America, and many others. They've collaborated for us tonight and are sharing a blog that should be linked in the comments that you can read to learn more about nutrition and how it impacts your brain. And they've also, Vin has gone ahead and demonstrated how to make an amazing brain healthy meal, and we have a link to the recipe for that as well. So let's talk about nutrition and brain health for a minute. As we know, women are more likely to be impacted by Alzheimer's disease, both as patients and caregivers. And we know that there is growing evidence between the connection of diet and brain health, especially for women. And so we need to be thinking about all the different foods that make sense for us to be putting into our bodies that impact our brain. A leading theory is that a diet rich in foods with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties are really good for promoting brain health and promoting cognitive resilience. And the most promising approach is a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the dietary approaches to stop hypertension diet. Put those together and it's called the MIND diet. Now the MIND diet is characterized by a few key things. One is there's a focus on eating fish, whole grains, fresh produce, especially leafy vegetables, berries, and cooking with olive oil. Following the MIND diet also means limiting our red meat intake, sweets, cheese, butter, fast food, fried food, to the extent that we can. Certainly in this time of COVID, it's not so easy, but thinking about what we put into our bodies to help our brains, I'm sure is something that we all, I think, I know that are part of this campaign, and hopefully all of you are thinking about and thinking about the best ways to keep our brains healthy. So Vin was kind enough to record himself making this meal. It is a pan-seared salmon with turmeric and Swiss chard. So I'm here in my kitchen and I've got more Swiss chard than I could ever imagine ready to go. I've got my quinoa that we're gonna flavor with turmeric, which has wonderful properties for your brain. And of course, we have beautiful salmon that we're going to be cooking tonight as part of this recipe. And I'm going to bring my kids in here, and I'm going to bring in my husband, and we're going to cook this meal together. You can follow along with Vin. We're going to have tips throughout his short demonstration, or you can just download the recipe and think about getting these ingredients the next time you're ordering food or going to the grocery store safely. And I really hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you all, this gives you some inspiration for future meals. If you haven't already, I encourage you to check out our website at bebrainpowerful.org. If you go there, you can easily sign up for our Brain Health Challenge, and every day we'll give you a tip on how you can take care of your brain. And once you're in the challenge, we'll start providing you with other brain health content as well. So we have this digital series that we're putting out. We have a monthly webinar that we are bringing experts in to talk about brain healthy lifestyles. So there's lots of resources available for you, and we hope you join the campaign and join the effort. I thank you so much for tuning in tonight. The comments will have the link to the recipe and the link to the blog so you can learn more. But stay in touch with us and let us know how your meal goes, and let us know how things are going in general with your brain healthy lifestyle. Thanks so much for being part of the campaign, and have a good evening.
Today we're going to make pan-seared salmon with turmeric quinoa spiced chard. So the first thing we need to do is get the pan going for the quinoa. Since quinoa takes the longest time to cook, we'll start that first. Then we'll do the chard. So while the quinoa is cooking, the chard is cooking, and then we'll sear the salmon. So I'm going to just a little vegetable oil off the pan for the quinoa. About medium heat. Add a bit of garlic, about 2 cloves. Cook the garlic. Until it smells fragrant, and then you add your onion. This will give the quinoa great flavor. At this point, add your salt. The salt will cause the onions to sweat and give the quinoa more flavor. Basically, you want to cook the onions until they're soft. While they're cooking, I have the pan for the salmon on medium high, and the pan for the chard on medium. So everything will come together at the end. As you can see, the onions are getting nice and soft right now. And as far as the quinoa goes, you can use white quinoa, red quinoa, tricolored quinoa, whatever available. And the important thing is, when you're using quinoa, you need to rinse it, because often there's residue from when it's harvested that's not harmful to you at all, but it just gives the quinoa an off taste. So you can see the onions are nice and soft. And then I added a combination of turmeric and curd. And with any dried spices, you want to cook them for a bit. It sort of takes out their a little bit of a harsh taste, a little bit of bitterness. And you can see the beautiful color. Now I'll add the water. And now it's on high. And I'm going to bring that to a boil. So again, I have the pan going for the salmon, so it's getting hot because we're going to sear the salmon. And I have the pan for the chard, sort of on, medium low, so everything can go quickly. I'm just waiting for this to come to a boil before I add the chard, before I add the quinoa. I just couldn't cover it for a second. So now, when that's getting ready to come to a boil, I'll start the chard. And for the chard, I'll use olive oil, about a tablespoon. And add the garlic. And again, cook it till the garlic is soft and fragrant. And the chard is all chopped. As you can see, the pan for the salmon is smoking, which is what you want. That's how you get great sear, just as you, in a restaurant, when you get great brown sear on a piece of fish or a piece of steak, a piece of chicken, it's because the pan is really hot. Okay, garlic is soft, and I'm gonna add the chard. And I'll add a bit of salt. That's kosher salt. And generally, the water that clings to the leaves after I wash it is enough to steam the chard. So I'll get it nice and hot. And I'm just going to let this go. And I'm going to cover the pot. And just reduce the heat. Essentially, just raise the chard. So the water for the quinoa is ready. I'm going to add the quinoa and cook the quinoa. So it's sort of very similar to rice. Two times liquid to 1 time rice or quinoa. You can bring that to a boil. Bring it to a boil and simmer it for about 12 minutes. And then we'll turn the heat down and let it steam for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, and it'll be absolutely perfect. And the chard is perfectly cooked. And again, I'll keep it covered and allow it to rest. You see the bright green color, it's actually perfect. And after everything, this steams, I'll mix everything together and it'll be perfect. And while that's happening, we'll cook the salmon. So I'll have a cast iron pan on high heat. I'm going to sprinkle the salmon, non-skin side down, with kosher salt. And the reason why I keep my hand high above the fish is because it covers it more evenly. And freshly ground black pepper. Some people marinate salmon, some people crust it with other things, but I like it to taste like salmon, so it's just salt and pepper. And this is farm-raised Atlantic salmon, which is available all year long, as opposed to wild salmon, which is seasonal. This salmon is actually fattier, and wild salmon is much leaner. So you'll see when we're done here, there'll be a fair amount of liquid in the pan. Okay, so this is vegetable oil. The reason why I use vegetable oil and not olive oil is because it's a very high burning point. So this is a very hot pan. And so just about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm just going to wait for it to smoke, until it should smoke in a second. The pan has been on the heat for quite a while. And actually, I think that's too much oil. So I'm just going to pour a bit of it off. Again, vegetable oil because it has a high burning point as opposed to olive oil. So salmon goes in, skin side down. You need to be very careful. As you drop it in, put it away from you so you don't Starting to set. Now we're going to let that go until it's probably approximately halfway cooked through. And we'll be able to tell because it'll be becoming opaque. So the salmon's been cooking about 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So now I'm just going to flip it, and you can see the skin is perfectly cooked. Put this one right here, it's a little bit of a so now the skin comes off really, really easily. And some people like the skin and some don't. So I'm just going to take the skin off. And you can see it comes off very, very easily. You can serve it on the side, or you don't have to. Now we want the fish to finish cooking through and form a beautiful crust on the other side. So I'm just using a fork to run it between the skin and the flesh. It comes off really easily. Okay, that's perfect. So now I'm finished cooking it through and getting a beautiful crust on the fish. And as you can see, the quinoa is perfectly steamed, and the chard is done. So I'll combine them when the fish is cooked through, and it'll be beautiful. Okay. So now the salmon has been cooking on the other side. Now it's time to, as you can see, the beautiful crust. Perfectly cooked. The salmon is done, the quinoa is done, the chard is done. We're going to combine the chard and the quinoa and then plate it.